With that, I invite you to consider a phrase I've heard said before, that the palm is an extension of the heart energy. Do with that what you will, and I invite you to take your right hand and begin to just softly, gently, as though comforting a dear friend, just run your palm along your left arm, maybe on the side, shoulder, around the elbow, all the way to the wrist, maybe noticing the sensation of the other hand. This bilateral stimulation to the other side, you're welcome to bring your left palm to the right side, almost like rubbing soap or lotion on the skin, as though taking a shower, practicing self-care, something gentle. You might choose to continue this way, oscillating from one side to the other. If you have extra energy or would just like to explore more movement, you could try swaying from side to side, moving your hips from left to right, maybe putting a footprint up off of the floor, exploring a little bit of balance, or just shifting your weight from one foot to the other. You'd like to incorporate more of your body in this kind of care practice, this comforting sensation of just creating touch and sensory feedback, kind of noticing where your edges are. You can choose to bring your hand down to your thigh, maybe trying the outside of the thigh, noticing the IT band, maybe the quad muscles, or even finding the hamstring behind you. And same thing, we'll cross the body, bring the other hand over to just again notice where the edges are, notice the sensory feedback of your sense of touch as you bring the palm to touch all the outsides of your limbs. You could bring both hands maybe to cross and rub your knees. And you might choose to go all the way down to the floor, maybe finding your shin bones, your calf muscles, standing any way that feels good, maybe dusting a little pet hair off if you have a household like mine. You might even find the tops of your feet, the backs of your ankles, just sort of waking up all the nerves and maybe even bringing a little bit of blood flow to the surface of the skin and all the parts of the body, moving in organic ways to reach ourselves, our extremities. And as you feel complete with this, I invite you to make any adjustments to be comfortable as you return to a stance. Maybe finding mountain pose with both feet as though on railroad tracks beneath you, a nice stable foundation. You might choose to turn your thumbs outward, letting your collarbone become wide, broadening your chest, reaching your fingertips towards the floor like my kitty cat climbing down the bed. You might notice your knees, find a soft bend there as though to bounce. You could sway if you'd like that movement again. You might nod your head yes, shake your head no, or make circles with your face, waking up the neck. We'll take 3 breaths together if you choose to join me, reaching out and up on a big inhale. Lowering the hands through an elevator to the heart on the exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale, big, reaching out and up. And bringing the hands home to the heart. The elbows can be wide here. Again, we'll breathe in, breathe out, taking up space, growing tall, and finding the exhale as we return to center. Nice work. From here, you choose to reach both hands out wide from side to side. The thumbs might point towards the sky as you reach left and right fingertips in opposite directions. Notice the space of the top portion of your rib cage. Can you notice the sensations of your kind of breast or collarbone, maybe the front edges of your armpits as you reach wide with your arms at maybe shoulder height. You might choose to spread your fingertips wide and sway or find stillness in your stance. I like to call this anteater pose. If you go Google anteaters in maybe an image search, you might find some images of them standing up like this, which is kind of funny to see. They do this to look big and proud and scary in case they feel threatened. So do with that what you will. I invite you find your inner anteater and take up some space here. Maybe your arms are starting to feel warm with this continued reaching. And from here, you may choose to spin your thumbs forward and down, bringing the backs of your hands to point forward, the palms to point backward. Maybe you have range of motion to continue rotating your thumbs back from there and choose to reverse when you're ready, bringing the thumbs forward and back, almost like bringing your hands under big heavy books or like scales on either side, whatever imagery may work for you. And we'll do that with our breath a few times, maybe inhaling to reach the palms forward and up. And exhale, rotating the shoulders in their socket as the whole arms allow the thumbs to point downward, maybe back. Notice where you feel this. And choose to continue for maybe 3 or 5 total rounds. And when you're ready, you might slow clap overhead, growing tall and bringing those hands home with palms connected toward your heart. Nice work. From here, with a little centering with our palms connected in the midline, you might begin to shift your weight forward and back, noticing the bottoms of your feet. Nice. As you glue both whole footprints to the mat, you may choose to rock forward, maybe lifting your heels as though to slide a piece of paper underneath them, maybe lifting a little taller still, coming up onto the toes as much as you'd like, and regrounding with the whole footprint. Maybe inhaling to rise, exhaling to ground, and inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, maybe 3 or 5 times. Maybe with control, maybe you make these quick pumps, it's up to you. When you find your feet firmly planted on the floor again, I invite you to lift your toes. Notice the activation of the arches of your feet. You might softly bend your knees and slowly plant your toes one at a time on the floor again. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the toes, activate the feet. And exhale, peel them down, plant them like little roots in the soil, and inhale one more time, lift your toes. Exhale, plant those toes, feel grounded. Nice work. With a big breath in, you might reach out and up. Palms can find each other overhead. And from here, you might hook your thumbs in the center or just glue your handprints in the midline. And from here, we'll reach toward one side, growing long from grounded footprint to lifted palms, lifted hands. Reaching through the hip and the armpit, finding length. And expanding the rib cage with a big breath in. Can you feel that sensation? And exhale might draw the belly towards the spine as you return to center. Maybe choose to make space between shoulders and your ears. As you prepare to reach for the other side, think tall thoughts as much as reaching ones here. You ground through both feet. Maybe even pressing your hip into the outside edge of that curve. Think about a banana or a boomerang here as you continue to lift both arms overhead, growing long through hip and armpit again. Big breath in might fan out your rib cage, and an exhale might bring you with strength back to 12 o'clock. Nice work. Fists might make circles for wrists as you bring your arms down at both sides. Take a breath here in mountain pose. I invite you to practice global breathing with me for a few breath cycles as we continue to warm up together here. What I mean by that is bringing your awareness, your mind's eye, whatever you may like to call it, to your heart, to your lungs, to the center space of your rib cage. And just notice as your rib cage expands in all directions as you breathe. So that might be a lot to ask of your awareness right out of the gate. So if you'd like to join me, we'll begin this softly and build on. You might take 10 breaths or so here. So wherever you are, standing or sitting, you may choose to bring one or both hands to your heart. And take 1 to 3 breaths and just notice the lift and the settling, the rise and fall, the up and down movement of hands on your ribs, on your chest. You may notice the texture, the weight, the temperature of your handprints on your chest. Choose to stay where you are or bring one or both hands to the side of your rib cage. You might take 1 or 3 breaths here as you notice that elbow moving out to the side. As you notice the tactile feedback of your rib cage under your handprint, your fingertips. Really focusing on your breath to make it big and expressive, almost like a push-up for your lungs from the inside out. Just noticing the side-to-side expansion of your ribs, and maybe still remembering the up and down movement you observed only a moment before. Again, you may choose to stay where you are or explore another part of this. One more option may be to bring one hand to the space in front of your diaphragm, just beneath your sternum, kind of that little divot in your low ribs on the front of your belly, above your belly button. You may notice as that hand moves forward and back with each breath in and out. Another option could be to add on or alternate to explore a handprint on your back. And just notice that hand moving forward and back. So you breathe in expansively. Letting the breath and the ribs, the belly, all expand with each in. And you might choose your favorite place to rest one or both hands, or let them drift to your sides in mountain pose for another breath or 3 as we kind of close out this dedicated breathing practice portion of our time together. Decide if you're ready to move as you stand in your mountain pose. As you're ready, you may choose to lift both hands on an inhale, reaching up high overhead. Palms can stay separate or connect in center as you hinge at your hips, lowering them as though sitting in an imaginary chair. Your hands can stay connected at heart center or maybe connect with your lap. From here, you may choose to lengthen both legs and your spine as you find a half fold. Breathe in here and choose to lower to your chair as you're ready, maybe reaching forward for counterbalance or finding prayer hands again. We'll lift together on an inhale, finding mountain pose, and we'll continue to repeat this cycle for a kind of flow. I invite you to move at your pace, find your breath, reach up as you breathe in, sit low as you breathe out. Connect and lengthen to find a half fold. Breathe in here. Exhale, find your seat. And with strength, find your mountain pose, return to standing. Your flow, your pace, your breath, continue. Maybe moving with me, maybe moving faster or slower. Can you hear your breath? You notice the expansion of your rib cage as you continue to move in this kind of moving meditation. It's okay if you skip a pose or add one on. You can make this yours however you'd like. The intention is moving with the breath, expanding the rib cage from the inside out, and connecting left and right brain so that we can reach our social mind, our executive functioning, our sense of calm, and sense of strength in our bodies moving through these postures. Nice work. I'll meet you in mountain pose as you feel complete with this flow.